right now in a COVID era, the stress factors are through the roof right now. So people are really seeking us out because they want that as part of their holistic care. I just think that as educators, as legislators, as business owners, we have to find a way to come together to be on common ground.
Hey everyone, thanks for coming. Hopefully we're hitting you at a time when you have availability to sit down and watch for a few minutes. We're excited to be connecting and talking to you about online in-person education, the Empower Education model, and other groups that are looking at online education. And that's been around for a long time. With me today is Miss Robin Anderson. Robin, how's your day going?
It's going great. Thanks a lot, Nathan, for having me again.
Good. Since our last video, we had several questions that came up on the Facebook page, and people wanted to know a little bit more and kind of get some clarification. And I thought no better way than to start another video and have us sit down and talk. So there's been questions about Empower seeking the correct approval in states. Can you talk us generally about in the past and where it goes in the future?
So, Empower's original model was an apprenticeship model, which basically meant that, students would do didactic learning online, and then they would be doing their hands-on training within a business facility that is, geared towards massage therapy with proper, supervision, of course. They achieved those approvals through the U.S. Department of Labor. And so if you go through that channel, those follow workforce development models and workforce development regulations. Now, in some states, the federal level of approvals is good enough, and that's all you need. And in others, you have to do it on the state level. There's a state, DOL that you have to go through. And of course, every state's been different. So it's been very confusing to try to keep up with which state wants which approval, which ones they accept, don't accept, and so forth and so on. So you live and learn, and like with any new business model, so you find out, you hit kinks, and we hit them. So now we're trying to fix them.
Well, and it's interesting when you're looking at education in a state, you have the federal, and then you have the state Department of Education, and then you have the state licensing boards. And in some of those states, you only need the federal approval. In some states, you need federal and state for Department of Education, or Department of Training, or some other education focused program. And then in other states, you need those, but you also need massage therapy board approval. And so being able to really go step by step and see all the way down the process is really hard. And some states, they may think that they have massage therapy board approval, but they may not. And so that's the piece where it's very important. And in the past, there have been state massage therapy boards that have changed their mind without notification of if the state board approves them and doesn't approve them. So what are those concerns, and how does that work?
In some of the states who did contact us, or we had students that completed our programs and then they went to apply for a license, and then they said, oh, well, you did not go to a state approved school. Well, in some cases, we actually did apply as an out-of-state school, and we contacted the boards and said, what do we need to do? And we provided all the information, and then so we figured we were good. Well, and then we come to find out that we weren't, or that the state boards would say that we don't approve apprenticeship models. Okay, well, you don't approve them, so who does? And there's a lot of gray areas in this particular instance. So, this is one thing that I would like to see is to come up with a transparent process. So that way, if you have to be an approved school, and I don't care what kind of model you are, community college, apprenticeship model, whatever, that you have a process, that you have a form that you must fill out, that everybody has to do, whether you're in state or out of state. And you can have two different processes, but then to also on every state website list all of the approved schools. In some states, they do that. In others, they don't. And, I think that would be helpful to not only the students, people who are seeking places to go to school that's accredited or an approved school, but also for the schools themselves. So I just think that would be a much more transparent and universal approach that would benefit people on many levels.
Hindsight is 2020. Unless you're standing in a fog bank, you can turn around and look behind you and you're still not going to see anything. And it seems like in some situations, no one knows. So you can look around and see where you came from, but there's no clear path behind you or ahead of you. And so simply being able to learn from the past and strive to improve, that's what it sounds like Empower is striving to do, is saying, okay, well, let's take all the steps that we can. Let's ask everyone and try and connect. Another place where hindsight is 2020 in building any business, marketing material is one of those pieces where building something new can change.
Our business partners offered to do some of the marketing for us because they had a vested interest in bringing new students into our program. And so they put things in the marketing like saying that we offered a massage therapy degree. We are not a degree granting institution that was, but there were some, owners that did that. So now we've learned through the process that you know what, we need to vet all of their marketing before it goes out the door. And it's not just one owner. There have been several owners across the country that have done it. And we're like, no, you can't do that. And then, of course, if you know anything about education advertising, there are some specifics of things you can say and can't say in advertising. And so, of course, the business owners didn't realize that. They only know how to run a business, not how to do anything education driven. So that creates a problem. So again, it's a problem we're fixing.
Those are really important pieces to be connected with. So there are these assumptions about online education. What are some of the thoughts that you have regarding online education and how it can support our profession?
So, there have been other human-based professions that have managed to do a blended learning model such as this, and they have done it successfully. And the perfect example that I can think of is nursing. I mean, nursing, they do a lot of their didactic content online, but they clearly do their hands-on stuff within a clinical setting. I don't see how we would be any different. And honestly, in nursing, there's a little bit more risk there. I mean, let's be honest, somebody could die if they do something wrong. I'm not suggesting that we would do that, in massage therapy, but I guess my point is that for some folks, learning online and doing the clinical hands-on part would be a great model. There's been a lot of talk about massage therapy education being delivered online as being a conduit to human trafficking. I know that there are some schools out there that are not operating on the up and up, but I can assure you that schools that do quality online education do not plop their students in front of a computer and just test them time after time after time with MBLEX questions. Our students are in a learning management system with real content, with real textbooks, with assignments that are required, and there is authentication of assignments that need to happen. The second thing is soft skills. I know that that's been a sort of as an educator in massage therapy, that's a sort of a complaint we've all had. How can we teach these students how to be more professional in soft skills and interacting with clients? We actually emphasize it in online education. There is such a thing that's called netiquette. So let me say that again, netiquette, meaning that you have to have a certain level of professionalism in what you write in the online word. So that means if you're in a discussion board, you need to write it professionally, not like a text message. You can't be copying things off of one website and putting it into your writing and that be okay. That's plagiarism. Okay. You can't write an email to a fellow student or an instructor or an administrator and use cuss words or use anything in any appropriate or inappropriate or a threatening nature. Those are all unethical means of communication through online. So, and it's emphasized just as much in the online environment as it is in a professional, personal, in-person environment. So, the thing is that in online education, there are quality standards. I know CompTIA has them. Nationwide, colleges and universities have them with Quality Matters standards. And actually, Quality Matters has a career and technical higher education track to make sure that if you're doing online education, that you're doing it with some semblance of quality. And higher education commissions in all the states nationwide have some type of guidelines.
The concern that so many state boards have with diploma mills, and there are diploma mills. We all understand there are diploma mills, and online education is not the equivalent of a diploma mill where you're looking at a diploma mill. They're just giving out a piece of paper saying, I've completed something. And these can be approved schools. These schools can have other things. And the problem really comes down to making sure that documentation can be followed through, and it can on an online education, on a learning management system, an LMS, to say,
Yeah.
hey, you know what, here was the process, here's the results, here's the end result, here's the time frame that they started and ended. That's a really important piece. Thank you so much for joining me, Robin. Did you have something you wanted to end with?
Well, I just wanted to say that I do think that our profession is at a tipping point right now, and that there's a lot of things we need to take into account. I think one of the things is that, there is room for innovation in our profession. Right now, in a COVID era, the stress factors are through the roof right now. So people are really seeking us out because they want that as part of their holistic care. I just think that as educators, as legislators, as business owners, we have to find a way to come together, to be on common ground, to allow the mom and pop shop, whether it's a school or a wellness center, but also to allow the franchise model, to allow the business owners to be able to make those choices, but all doing it in their own corner of the world with the same level of quality. And I think that if we can do that, that will make such a change. Like I think we've said before, change is hard, but change is necessary. And that's the tipping point that we are at with massage therapy as a profession, as an education model. And I really think we have to all kind of come together and figure this out before it gets away from us.
Thank you so much, Robin. If you have questions, feel free to put it down in the chat. We would love to address them and connect more with you. Hope you're having a great day, and we will talk to you all again very soon. Bye.
Thanks, Nathan.